Hi guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. I am Huss. I am joined by Jordan, and we have another video for you guys today. And this one is about you guys because we will be rating your FPL drafts in this video. So we sent out a tweet on Monday, I believe, and we asked you guys to send your teams in, and then we thought we'd do a little video where we rate your teams, basically. So that's what we'll be doing today. But before we get started, how's everything, Jordan? Enjoying the weather?
Yeah, it's a little bit too hot for me, I think, this weather. It's been way too humid compared
Yeah,
to what it has been before. But I'm good. I'm very good. I'm coping as much as we can. But yeah.
yeah, yeah. Now I hope you're right down there. Um, but yeah, it is very hot, very good weather today. I think 27 degrees here. So yeah, way too hot to be fair. So I've just got the fan on. I had to turn the fan off because obviously you wouldn't be able to hear me. So I've turned that off. But yeah, obviously got a comment here from Never Give Up FPL says howdy. Shout out to him. Um, Also, we've got Leo is good in the stream. Good evening, guys. Just joined your league. Look forward to the stream. Well,
Oh,
nice to have you in the league. It should be a good one. And we've had a few people that joins now, and obviously we've got to decide the prize because Jordan, we are doing a prize, aren't we, for the mini league? We just got to decide what it is
yeah,
between.
it was quite funny because last stream at the end of it, a lot of people commented my mug as the prize.
Oh yeah,
The Stewie Griffin mug. So maybe
yeah,
it could be the prize, but no, we'll see. We'll have
yeah.
to see
We'll
what the
come up with
prize
something,
is.
guys, for the mini league. We'll do a prize for you guys, and then the winner will win something at the end. So join the league, and yeah, let's see if you can win. And we've got Brian here as well that says hi, lads. Hi
Hey,
to you,
Brian.
Brian. So yeah, hopefully you guys have sent all the drafts in. How many did we receive, Jordan?
I believe it was, I think 16 people sent in the drafts to the tweet.
Okay, so we did get quite a few. I mean, so yeah, enough to do this video, I guess. So yeah, let's get on to the first team. So here's me bringing it up. So we hope you guys can see that. And this is actually Never Give Up FPLs. He's already on the stream. So this is his team. Um, he says this is the draft at the moment, and that he's gone with the 4-4-2. I'll just quickly read out the players he's got in there. So in goal, he's gone with Meslier. The back four, he's got Trent, Trippier, Chilwell, Laporte. He's gone with a four in midfield of Højbjerg, Mason Mount, Luis Diaz, Salah as captain. Then up front, he's got Jesus and Haaland. On the bench, he's got Begovic, De Silva, Nico Williams, and Greenwood. So let's discuss. You want me to go first of this team?
Yeah, oh yeah, Oscar, you can go first. Give your
All right.
analysis.
I'll just give my quick thoughts on the team. So the team looks quite good. I mean, there are a bit of different players. I think you got Højbjerg in there, which I haven't seen in many teams. Mount is also a bit of a differential. I don't know what his ownership's like, but I've not seen him in many drafts. But I definitely like the attack. I have to be honest. Haaland and Jesus as a double up front, I like the look of very much. Um, Last night or a couple of days ago, actually, I actually was considering bringing in Jesus in my own team and doubling up with Haaland up top. So it's something I've actually considered myself, and I do like that combination up top. Regarding the midfield, obviously Salah is in most teams, so not much to talk about there. I think Salah is going to be in most of our Game Week 1 teams. Luis Diaz is probably the most popular £8 million player that I've seen in your drafts. So I'm not really surprised that Luis Diaz is in there. But yeah, Luis Diaz does seem popular, very popular. He's in a lot of drafts. Mount's interesting, as I mentioned. I do like him as a pick, and yeah, I'm very intrigued by that pick, and I do think it could be a very good one. And Chelsea don't have too many bad fixtures to start, start off with either. The one thing that is a bit interesting is Højbjerg. I'm not so sure about Højbjerg, if I'm being honest, because he's not really an FPL asset type player that you'd want because he doesn't really get many goals. He doesn't really get assists. Can you just check for me Højbjerg's price, Jordan, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I don't mind checking that.
Or I can check actually if you want to
He's,
read some comments out.
he's
Or
priced at 5.5 mil.
okay, 5.5 mil. Okay, he's in the same price bracket as Neto, Gordon, Damari Gray. I personally would prefer to go with one of those players. So yeah, never give up FPL. I know you've got Højbjerg in there, but I think I'd prefer someone like a Neto or the Everton boys, Damari Gray or um, Gordon, just because they're a bit more attacking. Højbjerg is more of a defensive option, so that's one maybe I would look to change if I was me personally. The back four looks pretty good though. I like Laporte, Chilwell, Trent also. Trippier is the other one. I'm not so sure on. Because with Trippier, if we bring up his fixtures, if you could read me out some of his. Can you get me the fixtures up for Newcastle, Jordan? Just read me the first
Yeah, I
5
can
or
get
6.
you that. So Newcastle's first 5 fixtures, they have Nottingham Forest as their first fixture. Then they have Brighton in their second, and then Man City in their third, Wolves in their fourth, and Liverpool as their 5th game fixture.
Yeah. So for me, I'm not so sure about Newcastle's first 5 fixtures. If you've got Liverpool and Man City, plus Brighton as well, I don't believe is an easy game. Wolves, I think Wolves is away, isn't it, as well? I believe.
The Wolves one is away. Yeah.
Yeah, see, they have got Newcastle do have some tricky games. I know the first game against Nottingham Forest is quite good, so but I'm not sure I'd have Trippier in defense to start with. I've seen Trippier is very popular with a lot of players, but I'm not so sure myself on Trippier, especially as Newcastle as a whole, just because they've got Liverpool and Man City in the opening 5, and they've got Brighton and Wolves, who I think are 2 of the better teams in that mid-table section. So that's just my thoughts on Trippier. But the rest of the team I like, I say. Chilwell over Reece James is interesting. Laporte is also interesting because obviously you've gone with Laporte because I assume you can't fit Cancelo in the bench. Nico Williams is a nice cheap bench option at 4 million as well. So yeah, what's your thoughts anyway, Jordan, on this team?
Yeah, in some places it is quite different. You've chosen a Leeds goalkeeper in your starting team. It's quite very different because he's only 1.7% owned in fantasy at the moment, so he's not really a popular pick for many FPL managers. But it is something different. You never know. I mean, Leeds could turn it around from their poor season they had previously, but I probably would go for maybe the Brentford goalkeeper instead, though, as Brentford have really good fixtures and the price for Raya is cheap as well. He's 4.5 mil, and he's probably one of the decent goalkeepers to start with in your team. But I won't rule out your decision on going for the Leeds goalkeeper because that's obviously your choice. But it is the differential going for that goalkeeper. But yeah, I do like it. If I see your defense, I would say 2 template-ish players. Well, Trent is template. Laporte is kind of template, I would say. Chilwell is an interesting one, like Huss said, over James, because I think people prefer James over Chilwell at the moment in terms of the ownership between them. But I did think about having Chilwell in my team too, but then I slightly remembered why I didn't want to have Chilwell, because obviously his ACL injury last season kind of put me off from having him in the starting team. But after his recovery, I guess he can be again an option to go for to start your game week off, which yeah, I would say that's quite a good choice for a defender because Chelsea do have also good fixtures, especially with Everton away as their first one. Kieran Trippier for a Newcastle defender. I've seen a few people with Newcastle defenders. I just think that's because they have Nottingham Forest as their first fixture at home. That's really strong. but it's the following fixtures after that. Like, I think they have 3 easy ones, but then they have 2 hard ones because they got Man City and Liverpool in their first 5. But other than that, I suppose I would say you could rotate Trippier with your bench options, but it doesn't look like you have any like nailed players on your bench, so
Well,
you might have to.
Nico
Or
Nico
Nico.
Williams obviously just moved to Nottingham Forest. He will play, but obviously we have to see how he rotates with Trippier. Let us know. Never give up FPL. Is that your plan to rotate Nico with Trippier when the Trippier has tough games? I'm assuming it is.
Yeah, I was a bit confused at that kit because it looks like Liverpool kit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or is it? Is Liverpool?
No, it's a
kit?
Nottingham Forest kit. I think it's just up. It's just
Yeah, it's just
no sponsor. I
clear.
don't think on it, but yeah, the images are not as. It's a bit blurry, so hopefully you guys can see that on the page.
Yeah, but yeah, in that case, yeah, you can rotate Trippier with Nico Williams if needed for the harder fixtures that Newcastle do have. So that's my analysis on the defense and your goalkeeper.
The question I had actually for you, sorry.
Yeah.
The other question I was just going to ask you, Jesus and Haaland as a duo up top. Do you like that, that move?
Now, this is an interesting thing because earlier on before the stream, I was tinkering around with my team with this. And I do think now I want to include Jesus in my team up front with Haaland. So, yeah, I do like it. The more I see it, the more I like it. So I might opt for this choice up front too, and not just have Haaland up front, because I do think Jesus is going to do really well in the first starting of the fixtures in that Arsenal do have, because they do have decent fixtures too. Plus, Jesus is really highly owned. I think he's 55% owned by managers in fantasy at the moment. So it'll definitely hurt your rank a bit if you don't have Jesus, because he is a popular pick. Which I'm surprised about. He's almost as similar as Luis Diaz's ownership. But yeah, I do like that up front. I really do.
All right, Jordan, I'm gonna let you take some of these comments before we move on. If you could get someone.
So we have Brian here that says Mount could be a great option. Yeah, Mason Mount. He surprisingly isn't owned by many people in fantasy. He's 10% ownership, I think. I think it's a bit of a difficult thing because we do know that Sterling now has joined Chelsea officially. He signed his contract, so
you got announced today, I think.
Yeah,
just earlier.
Yeah, earlier on today, it got announced that Sterling now is the Chelsea player. But we'll have to see with how Tuchel rotates and plays players to see if Mount definitely will play matches, but it just depends on how many he does and if he's rotated with someone else. But yeah, he is a great option still. We have FPL River that says evening, lads.
Evening.
Good evening to you. We also have Kobe who says evening as lads as well.
Shout.
And we've got Leo is good who says Højbjerg to Neto instead.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems to be the trend going at the moment. Because obviously Neto's 5.5 mil.
Oh yeah, obviously Neto is. Also got Penguin here as well, says hello lads. Shout out to him. FPL River also he agrees. And Leo is good, says he'd rather go with Villa's cash than transfer Trippier in game week 6 when their schedule looks better. Yeah, that's a fair shout. And then Jordan, if you want to take this comment as well.
Never Give Up FBL says agree with everything. Already made a new draft in a 5-3-2 formation. Højbjerg is out, by the way, and rotation was planned. Yes, thanks, guys.
No worries, man. We hope you. I don't know. We hope you like what we said about your team. Obviously, we thought we'd give our thoughts, and thank you for sending you in your team. And we are going to move on to probably the second because we have a lot of drafts. We're going to try and move on quite quick. So if there in the second draft, if there is any similarities with this team, we won't really cover it as much. So if there's anything different that we haven't spoke about, we'll cover it. But if it's very samey, if that makes sense, we'll probably just move on and rather than go over the same point again. So this team, 4-4-2, Haaland and Jesus we spoke about. We do like Haaland and Jesus a lot. Luis Diaz, obviously the most popular 8 million pick that I've seen. Mount's an interesting one, and then the defense sort of template, but then you've got Trippier in there and Chilwell as well, which is interesting. But now let's move on to the next slide, and this was sent in through Twitter user FPL Alex 2, and he says really like this draft. Thoughts? Now, let me just quickly go over the draft. He's playing a 5-3-2, and then he's got Raya in goal. He's gone with a back five of Chilwell, Trent, Cancelo, James, Perisic, which seems quite popular. In midfield three, he's gone Salah, Luis Diaz, and Neto. And then in up front, he's gone Jesus and Haaland. I actually really like this draft. I think it's quite similar to my actual team because I've got that same back five, I believe. I've gone, but thinking about it more, I'm not so convinced I'll be going with the double Chelsea fullbacks. Maybe it's just something I've decided to change my mind. But what do you reckon on double Chelsea fullbacks? I know you wasn't the biggest fan of going Chilwell and James. Have your thoughts changed on that, or still...
No, my thoughts are still the same with that. I don't think I'll be going with double Chelsea defense to start off with. I do want to see though how it develops with Chelsea with their defense, because obviously we know Rudiger has left Chelsea, and that could affect Chelsea in their defense in a way, but it might not. It might just keep the same, and their defense might be formidable. But at the moment, I don't think I really want to go double Chelsea. I do want to have a defense where I have one defender from each team rather than having two from the same club to start off with. Plus, it looked attractive when we saw the price reveal of Chilwell and James being the same price of 6 mil. It was kind of hyped to have the double Chelsea because they're both the same price. But now that I look at it further of the circumstances like injuries and the transfers that Chelsea have made for like Rudiger, it sort of swayed me to not go for a double Chelsea defense.
Fair enough. That's a fair comment. I actually have Chilwell and James in my team as of now, but I'm actually planning to get rid of one of them, and I think I might get rid of James, and get in maybe a Robertson, and dare I say it, get rid of Luis Diaz. But we'll have to wait and see what I do, because if I want Robertson, but obviously I've already got triple Liverpool, so that's what I'm thinking of that team. But I do like the defense. Double Chelsea is interesting. Obviously, you've got another comment here from Brian who says Koulibaly is a big signing for Chelsea's defense. Yeah, obviously Koulibaly is close to joining Chelsea, who he's going to improve that back line because he's a good player as well. So let's see if that goes through. But yeah, defense is fairly template, I would say. It's pretty template, but I can see why people have chosen to go down that route. There does look to be a lot of value in the big at the back. In midfield, we've mentioned Salah and Diaz. They seem very popular, as you see with the last draft. They're in as well. Neto's interesting. He does seem kind of like the bandwagon 5.5 million midfielder everyone's going with. Neto is in a lot of drafts as like a cheap enabler. He's also in my draft, guys, as you know, from our previous video. And I do like Neto, but at that price range, you do have Wissa. I think that's how you say his name. Johan Wissa at Brentford. You've got, Gordon at Everton. You've got Damari Gray as well at 5.5. So there are a bit of options, but Neto seems to be the one that FPL Twitter have decided to go for. And also regarding Jesus and Haaland up front, we've mentioned that we do like that pairing, and it's something we're both considering ourselves because at the moment, I'm be honest, I don't have Haaland or Jesus in my team, and that might surprise a lot of people. I've got Kane up top on his own. So I do think I'm going to change. I think I'm going to go to Haaland and Jesus. But yeah, Jordan, you are tempted with getting up. You did say, right, you're tempted to get Jesus in.
Yeah, I've already sort of managed to sort out my team to make him fit into my starting 11 already. But you guys will have to see that another time. But yeah, I have managed to fit Jesus and Haaland up front while having a decent starting 11 in my team. It was a bit of tinkering, but it does work.
Interesting. I'll maybe off stream. I'll have to see your team after that. But yeah, we will show our team, guys. In a coming video. But this is all about you guys and your teams. Never Give Up FPL with another comment here. I'm curious if anyone got Bowen in their drafts. He's looking like a better option every time I make drafts. Even City in game week 1 is okay for me. I think I've seen one team so far that has Bowen in, but I've not seen him in many teams, for honest. Maybe we are, underplaying or underrating him, but we'll have to wait and see. At 8.5 million, isn't he? So he is a bit pricey. Maybe that's putting people off. But I'll let you take the next comment as well, Jordan.
Okay. The next comment we have from
I've got it up here.
Oh, Idrissa. Is that how you say it? If not, I'm sorry. Would you prefer Robertson over Luis Diaz for the third Liverpool spot, bearing in mind on who gets much minutes?
Shall I go with this one?
Yeah.
So at the moment, as you guys know, I do have triple Liverpool. So I have Salah, I have Luis Diaz, and I have Alexander Arnold. And I'm tempted to get rid of Luis Diaz and bring in Robertson instead of double Chelsea, because I really like the Liverpool double defense. And also with Luis Diaz, he is at 1 million more expensive. So he's 1 million more than Robertson. And also we know Robertson is going to play every single game. He's not going to get rotated, really. Maybe the odd game if there's before a Champions League, Simicast might get a game. But I think Robertson is a good pick. Like, I wouldn't be surprised come the end of the season if Robertson picks up similar amounts of points to Diaz. That's just my opinion. We've seen Robertson. He also hits near 200 points, 180 points every season as well. A lot of people don't know. I don't know if you guys kept up with the stats, but Robertson actually outscored Trent from January onwards. So from second half of the season, Robertson did pick up more points than Trent, and we know how good Trent is. So Robertson, I think he's a great option, and I don't think it's bad to get rid of Luis Diaz if you want double Liverpool defense. But I think Liverpool will keep a lot of clean sheets, and we know how good they are going forward. But I know Jordan might not agree because he is a big advocate of Luis Diaz, and he likes Luis Diaz. So what you got to say, Jordan?
Yeah, that is spot on. I am a Luis Diaz fan, and I don't think nothing will persuade me to remove Luis Diaz for anyone. I wouldn't be tempted for Robertson over Luis Diaz. Definitely not. Even though there is the possibility that Robertson will play more minutes than Luis Diaz, I do think the quality that Luis Diaz has, he can sort of match that despite him playing less minutes than Robertson will be.
Yep, that's fair enough, obviously. No, I was going to say, sorry, that's a fair shout. It's just, I think Robertson could be decent. Like, I wouldn't mind going Robertson over Diaz myself. So we'll have to wait and see, guys, if what I do decide to do. We've got Brian here. I think the only reason to back against Robertson is the amount of other defensive options. That's also a fair shout. There is a lot of defensive options now. Even at 4.5, you've got people like Tomiyasu and stuff. Rich Melvin says, I have Bowen in 8.5, still a decent price. Fadzi says 3 premiums might be the way to go. And Raya is a decent pick, but not anymore. We'll have to wait and see if there's any drafts with 3 premiums, but I know it's been talked about a lot as well. And also, Never Give Up FPL, shout out to him. He's always supporting us. He says, like and subscribe and leave a comment after the stream ends, people. Enjoy the show. Yeah, guys, I've just got to stop the stream for a sec to let everyone know. Can you please like and subscribe? If you enjoy what type of content you're watching right now, a like really helps us grow the channel. So if you could drop a like, that very much appreciated. Also, guys, after you finish watching the stream, go back on our stream again after it's posted up, and then also drop a comment, because that actually helps a lot with the algorithm. So yeah, if you could do that, that would be we'd love it. So yeah, like and subscribe, guys, and we have a lot of content to come through the coming season.
Yeah, and we do aim to reach 400 subscribers before the season starts. That's our new target at the moment, so that would be much appreciated if you can help us reach that target by the start of the season. That'd be very appreciated from everyone.
Yep, there you go, guys. Listen to the main man, Jordan. If he says 400 before game week 1, if we could get there, that would be brilliant. But yeah, let's move on now to the next draft. Actually, we've got to talk about his bench quickly. So he has got Andreas Pereira on the bench, which is, he seems like, he plays for Fulham now, I believe. He's moved to Fulham, if I'm correct. and he looks like he's going to play a lot of games as a 4.5 million mid, so he could be decent. But yeah, other than that, the team looks pretty template, I'd say. I think this is probably the most template team that I've
Yeah.
seen on Twitter, but I like it, and I can see why he's gone with it. Similar to my team, and yeah, it's interesting. Definitely. Moving on. Okay, this is not as clear. Can you guys see this, by the way? Because obviously we thought we'd add everyone in anyway, but we hope you guys can see this. This was put through by FPL Diamond on Twitter. He's gone Raya in goal. He's gone Robertson, Chilwell, Tomiyasu, Doherty. Very interestingly, he's gone Odegaard, Salah, Neto, Haaland, Kane, Jesus. So he has gone for the freemium. Mind the pun, but yeah, he's gone with the 3 premiums. Salah, Kane, Haaland, which is quite interesting. Well, actually, Jesus as well, which is another expensive option. But then you look, obviously, on his bench, he's gone quite cheap on a bench. He's also gone 2 cheap defenders. So I believe Doherty is 4.5, isn't he? Was he? Is he 5 mil?
I think I can double check, but I think he is 4.5.
Yeah, if you could just double check for me. So yeah, he's gone with a 4-3-3, which obviously I do like, but he's what do you make of the team? Because he's gone quite low, small at the back, if that's a word. But he's gone Robertson, Chua, which is nice. But then I've not seen many teams with 2 cheaper defenders, Doherty and Tomiyasu. What do you make of that? Rather than the big at the back with the Cancelos, he's gone without Trent. By the way, I just realized now
that's
there's no Trent in this draft.
I guess Robertson, not bad replacement for Trent, but still, I'd be worried to not have Trent in the team. Just from last season when I didn't have Trent in the team, that was a disaster. But
Yeah.
it's different. I mean, without Trent, does make it different and interesting. And I guess it helps with fitting in the 3 premium players that you have, if you also include Jesus as a kind of a premium too. But yeah, Doherty is 5 mil, by the way.
Oh, he's 5
But
mil. I was just actually
yeah,
going to check.
yeah,
5
it
mil.
is
Okay.
5 mil. And yeah, with it's a very different back, I guess. You got one player in defense from different teams, so it's diverse. There isn't a double up on a player in the same team, but at the same, it kind of works.
It
I
kind of
quite
works.
like it. Yeah,
How much is Odegaard as well? I'm just checking because I forgot what price he was at. But yeah, what do you make of the team? You like it, or because let us know in the comments, guys, what you think of this team from FPL Diamond. Do you guys like the premium draft? So 3 premiums. Do you think it works? Because he's not really got a bench. I know he's got Andreas in there.
yeah. I mean, unless anything happens like a red card or an injury, they might cause some problems with the team, obviously, because you can't substitute any players from the bench that will play, but not nailed to play. But the forwards will definitely pay off in the first game week. Haaland, Kane, and Jesus, they're definitely players that be racking up those returns very quickly, and that could pay huge.
The only worry with this team for me personally is, never give up FPL. Shout out to him. He says the cost of 3 premiums way too high. Though some drafts look pretty nice, but not the way to go, in my opinion. I agree. I don't think 3 premiums is the way to go personally, just because. Let me explain why. So you have this, he's got the midfield, he's got Salah, he's got Neto, and he's got Odegaard. Now let's say for example, there's a bunch of 8 million midfielders. There's Luis Diaz, there's Mason Mount, I think is 8 million.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them. Now let's say one of them bangs in 2 goals in game week 1, and then goes on game week 2, gets another goal. How are you going to bring him in? Because you can't really upgrade the midfield. Like I would want an 8 million midfielder spot. I believe you should have at least one 8 million midfielder spot, because you never know. You might need a Luis Diaz or Saka, and you find it very hard to bring him in. What you'll have to do is you'll have to take a hit, basically, because you have to downgrade your Jesus and then bring that money up to the midfield, because Once you go free premium, you're kind of stuck with it if you want to change. There's not much flexibility. It will take you a hit to bring in an 8 million midfielder, and you'll be tied to like bringing in 6 million midfielders. Because obviously, Erdegaard's 6.5, and there's not much in that 6.5 option. And then Neto's 5.5. There's not much of that 5.5 gap as well. I'm assuming he's got no money in the bank either. And that would be my slight worry with this team. Is that you'll be that 8 million midfielder spot, I think, is going to be key this season. And I see a lot of value in there as well. And when you want to jump on an 8 million midfielder, you'd find it hard without downgrading elsewhere. That's my main opinion on that. I do like of the fact you've got Tomiyasu in there. Doherty could be an interesting shout if he gets game time. He should start, I assume. I know Tottenham are close to signing Jed Spence, so we'll have to wait and see what that does to Doherty's minutes. But other than that, it looks all right. But I think free premium isn't the way for me. Would you reckon, Jordan? Would you still go with three big players, Haaland, Kane, and Salah, or do you think you're taking too much
budget?
Yeah, too much of the budget where you have to buy like a 5.5 Neto and a 4.5 Tomiyasu, and Doherty's cheap as well. Do you think you're taking too many compromises just to fit in three big players?
Yeah, as much as I hate to say it, I definitely agree. Yes, it does. But when you look at it at the screen, it looks so good. That forward line looks so good to have. It's kind of like the wish you want to have with having some budget left to have a playing bench, because that could work if you did have a playing bench, to have those in case of like an injury or suspension from a player, or if you needed to downgrade someone, then you could afford to downgrade like a Kane. You'll still have Jesus and Haaland to still play for, but as Huss said, you'd have to take a hit if you wanted to get an 8 million midfielder in, because you'd have to remove Kane and replace him with someone else, and then replace a midfielder or upgrade a person from defence or Kane's position to another player to fill that 8 million gap in midfield. Because you definitely do want at least one 8 million midfielder with quality, because Odegaard and Neto, I don't think are top quality midfielders to have. Not saying that they're bad options or they're good options to start with, especially Neto, but in the long-term run, you want to have an 8 million midfielder like Luis Diaz, Mount, Saka, etc.
Yeah, I just think having that 8 million option gives you massive flexibility where you can, if you don't like one player in 1 week, let's say you have Luis Diaz and he's not doing great, you could just switch him to Saka, or if Saka's not doing well, switch him to Mason Mount. Having that 8 million slot lets you be flexible and change your team. That's just my opinion on it. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys agree with us, if not, let us know why. But yeah, guys, that is my thoughts on that one. I'll just quickly read some comments out. Roman Jarvis, shout out to him. He says thoughts on Newcastle option like Trippier. We've mentioned Trippier earlier on in the stream, but we think basically maybe not at the start, maybe later on. We'll come on to Wilson and St. Max in a bit. Brian, the Threemium could end up paying back with the clear best captain every week, but it will rely heavily on that. Also, the other thing, the reason why you have these big premium players, the reason why they're so expensive is because they're a great captain option. Like Salah is a great captain option. Haaland is a great captain option. So is Kane. So if you have three of them, you can't captain all three of them at the same week. You can only captain one player, guys. So as long as you have a captain option covered for each week, do you need all three? Because you can only captain one of them. So that's where I think maybe it's not worth having three captain material players in there. Maybe just have two and you alternate between Salah and Haaland for the first 8 weeks. Maybe after the first 8 weeks, you alternate between Salah and a Spurs player, whoever's got better fixtures. Because you can't captain all of them. That's just my opinion, because that's the reason why I like the premium players, because they are captain worthy. And I don't think having three in there, it's too much compromises being made for me personally. Rich Melvin says, doesn't work for me. Premium players are generally only worth the price because you will captain them. Yep. This is exactly what I said. Shout out to Rich Melvin agreeing with me. Oh yeah, I think he said it before me actually, because obviously I just read it out late. But yeah, shout. Yeah, I completely agree, Rich Melvin. Brian says, I have a 4 premium draft on Twitter, but I had Andreas Pereira and Nico Williams starting. Yeah, that's. I don't know
They
if I'd
are
be wanting to start those guys week in week out.
no.
I'll let you take this comment as well. Actually,
Brian says, I think one argument to no 8 million midfielder is that they all have good fixtures for good teams. And personally, I'd be reluctant to sell them on, for example, Saka to Foden, maybe.
I think the one argument to no 8 million. Yeah, I know what you. Wait, I think the one argument to no 8 million mid is that they all have good fixtures for good teams. Yeah, I know what you mean. So that's why you'd want one at least. So even if you wanted Saka or a Foden, they're all at that price range where you'd want to maybe bring them in and lets you have that flexibility. But we will move on. We're half an hour already into the stream. We only
Yeah,
covered two teams. We'll quickly
yeah.
move on to the other drafts because we have a few that we've got to talk about. But guys, don't forget to smash the like button and also subscribe if you're new to the channel. I think we are on like 300 and how many subs are we on?
Last time I looked, it was 335.
I think we're on 336. So if we can get, if we can get to 400 by game week 1, that would be mad. So yeah, if you could get us up to there, that would be sick. Also, next team. There you go. This is the next draft that was sent in by FPL Jalil. He's gone with a 5-3-2 as well at the back. So he's gone with Ederson in goal, which we'll come on to because that's quite different to what we've seen so far. He's gone Trent, Robertson, Trippier, Tomiyasu, and Chilwell, which is interesting. In midfield he's gone with Salah, Leon Bailey, and Madison. And up top, he's gone Jesus and Kane. And on the bench, he's got Gordon, Andreas, and Archer. So he has got some playing players. Obviously, Gordon, he's a starter. We expect him to play games. Andreas will probably play as well for Fulham. And then, yeah, let's talk about what's different. So Ederson, 5.5 million keeper in goal. Surprisingly, he's got no outfield Man City players, but he's got one in goal. What do you make of the premium goalies, if that's a thing? 5.5 million Ederson. Do you reckon you'd be tempted to go with Ederson at 5.5, or do you think you're cool with your cheap goalkeepers?
Yeah, I think I'm cool with having a cheap 4.5 goalkeeper. I think that I don't like spending money on a goalkeeper to start off with. I think it's just, especially with the prices that have been revealed for players, you definitely want to go with a cheaper goalkeeper, but also releases the budget because it's all well going for Ederson because he's going to get a lot of points like he did last season for Man City and nailed to play. But the cost of him is 5.5 mil, whereas Raya, who's 4.5, cheaper with arguably good fixtures as well as Man City, but it's a tough one because
the thing I was going to say, interestingly, he's got no other Man City players, so that's why he maybe can get away with Ederson because I'm assuming, most people would have at least Cancelo or Laporte or a Haaland, and maybe you don't want to lock that third spot out. But I do get what, Ederson, there is appeal with Ederson because Man City statistically had the best defense last season. They had the less expected goals conceded. So they have the best defense just in front of Liverpool. So he will pick up clean sheets, but I just think there's not enough potential in save points and bonuses to spend another 1.5. I think Mendy at 5 million is maybe a better pick and save that 0.5 and maybe bring in Mendy and then maybe upgrade Chilwell to Cancelo. But that's just our thoughts. Let us know what you guys think. Because do you think Ederson at 5.5 is tempting? For me, I see why some people have gone with it, but I'd probably stick to even 5 million Mendy. I'd probably just save that 0.5. We've spoke about the back five, haven't we? Pretty much. We spoke about. I do like Robertson and Trent double up. I'm considering actually doing that myself and taking out the Chelsea double up. We spoke on Trippier. Tomiyasu we like as well. He's got good fixtures. He's cheap at 4.5. You can play him. You can bench him most weeks either if he has bad games. Let's talk about Madison because Never Give Up says, I like the Madison pick. Not the worst fixture and always scoring high on points. What you reckon for James Madison? I'm bring his fixtures up here as well.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because with with Madison's price, it kind of put me off that he was 8 mil in that 8 mil bracket of players, because the reason for that is because of Harvey Barnes' price. He is priced a little bit cheaper at 7 mil. So my thinking with that is you could save 1 mil and have Harvey Barnes instead of Madison, because we both know those two players do get returns pretty much like James and Chilwell. They'll get both returns. It's just arguably who will get more than the other. And I do think it's probably better off to go for a cheaper midfielder like Harvey Barnes, because there's not many midfielders which are decent at that price that are nailed and will play a lot of matches. But I know Madison's more nailed than Barnes will be, but you're saving that 1 mil budget too. And obviously Barnes can get returns as well as Madison. And that's my thoughts on that. But I do like
Also, the other thing I was gonna say is Leicester have Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United in their first five. So that's my worry slightly with Leicester. I wasn't too impressed with Leicester last season. I know they had a few injuries, and Madison still had a good season overall as an individual. But Arsenal game week 2, they've got Chelsea in game week 4, and then Man United in game week 5. But they do start off with Brentford, and they've got Southampton in game week 3. I'm not keen on their fixtures, if I'm being honest. And Leicester, for me, are a bit of a wait and see. I just think at that price bracket, 8 million, I'd rather get a Foden, a Saka, a Luis Diaz. There's so much better players with better fixtures for me anyway. So that's why Madison for me wouldn't be in my team. But a bit of a differential. I can see why he's at the moment he's 6.3% selected. So he's not very high owned. So this is some a bit of info as well. Of all 8 million midfielders, Madison got the highest score last season. So there you go, guys. Maybe we are sleeping on him, but for me, it's the fixtures. I just think he's got 3 of the top 6 teams in the first 5. Also, the other interesting player in that team is Bailey. And I was going to say, Krosberg with a comment here says, why Bailey is he going to play? Yeah, I agree with that. I think Bailey's a massive rotation risk, or even if he gets any minutes, I don't think he'll play. I don't think he'll start much. But then on the bench, he has got Gordon. So maybe you could play Gordon on those weeks. Gordon doesn't have the best fixtures either. I mean, not too bad, but yeah, if you want to rotate Gordon and Bailey, maybe that's the plan. I guess if you are watching Jalil, let us know what is your plan with Gordon on the bench, because I'll probably decide to play Gordon ahead of Bailey, but maybe he's going to switch them. Maybe he'll switch depending on the fixtures. But
yeah,
I can see why he did it. But I can see why he did it. Yeah, it's an interesting team. Would you say?
Yeah, it's a different team in the midfield wise. Like Madison and Bailey, it's not been seen in many drafts at all. I've not seen Madison or Bailey in either of the drafts I've seen in fantasy. But you could also swap Gordon for Madison when he has a hard fixture too. I mean, that's another choice, but then you have to play Bailey. And obviously, Huss explains that will he play every game? He might not.
I don't think he will. I think Leon Bailey, obviously, he struggled in the first season in the Premier League, and I don't know if I don't think he is nailed, to be fair. Aston Villa have Coutinho, they have Jacob Ramsey, all these guys in there. I don't know. We'll have to see with Bailey. I would be surprised if he does start game week 1. Brian says Bailey is the exact kind of player to score a brace on game week 1. Big risk though. Yeah, that is actually you wouldn't be surprised if he did something like that. We've got Elliot in the chat, and he says, "Hey guys,
hey Elliot,
I hope you're well, mate." Yeah, let's move on to. Actually, we've got another comment here from MSF Daily. Shout out to him. Hope he's doing well.
welcome to the stream.
Welcome. Let's move on to the next draft, and this is a. He's quite a regular on our streams these days. Kobe, I see him. He's also dropped his team in here. You wanna read out you read out his team.
Okay, so Kobe. Well, let's start with the formation. It's a 4-5-1, And in goal, we have Henderson. I think it's the Man United Henderson.
Nah, yeah, he's obviously gone to Nottingham, I believe, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. So it's a Nottingham goalkeeper. In defence, you have Trent, Laporte, Perisic, and Chilwell. So I'll say 3 of the defenders are template. Chilwell could be a mix of a template slash not. The 5 midfield: Neto, Salah, Andreas, Sterling, Luis Diaz, and Kane up front. Sterling's quite an interesting pick. That's different. I've not seen Sterling in any drafts at all.
Yeah, obviously he's confirmed now as a Chelsea player, so he will be in Chelsea. And I think that is going to be interesting for FPL having Sterling as an attacker at Chelsea. He could be decent. He's one I'm going to keep an eye out on, but at that price, 10 million, maybe just difficult to fit him into our teams. The rest, we've seen Neto, we've seen Salah, we've seen Luis Diaz. So we're not going to speak too much on them. Surprisingly, he does have Andreas starting, which I don't know if I'd want to do that, having a Fulham player starting in my team. Especially we don't know how Fulham are going to perform. I don't like having too many newly promoted players in my team. And also in the bench, he's got Undav as well, who is another newly promoted. Oh, sorry, he's not newly promoted. Obviously, he's new to the league. Yeah, the rest of the team looks okay. Obviously, he's got Dean Henderson, which is interesting. What do you reckon of Dean Henderson's fixtures? Let me just bring them up because obviously I need to see. I'm not sure about Dean Henderson and Nottingham because I don't like having
I think
a
Nottingham
newly
have
promoted
really
goalie.
tough fixtures. I think they go against 3 of the top 5 teams.
Okay, Nottingham Forest have Newcastle, West Ham, Everton, Spurs, and Man City. So they have Man City and Spurs in their first 5, while they also have Newcastle game week 1 and then West Ham game week 2, which ain't going to be easy either. Everton, I'm not sure about the goalie pick, if I'm being honest, Kobe. Let us know your thoughts as to why you went with Dean Henderson. I'm not so sure about that one. I just think newly promoted, we'll go, maybe wait and see how I don't expect him to keep many clean sheets at the start. That's just my thoughts on that one.
He might get a lot of save points, though.
Yeah, that could be true.
Maybe bonuses if he's really good at getting saves in, a lot of saves in the matches. But other than that, similar to De Gea really last season. But will Henderson replicate that?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see with that. Let us know, Kobe. We've got Elliot who also says, "Where do I share my draft?" We sent a tweet out on Monday. So if you aren't, guys, that's why we say, guys, so you don't miss our updates. Follow us on Twitter. Let me just put this back up. Follow us on Twitter, the FPL Duo, and you would have seen all of this. We have our updates. We tweet out when we're going live, when we want your teams for drafts. So follow us on Twitter if you don't want to miss anything and turn your notifs on. So regarding where do you share a draft, we sent out a tweet on Monday asking for all your draft teams. We've got David Hamill as well in the chat. Not much love for Mitrovic. Liverpool always concede opening day. Yes, actually kind of true. Liverpool do sort of concede, if I remember correctly, in the past few seasons, but they also score a bunch of goals. I mean, the last few against newly promoted teams as well, they usually put 3-4 past them. Rich Melvin, I'll let you take this comment, Jordan.
Sterling will be a monster bandwagon this season. First name on my team sheet.
Oh, okay.
If you can fit Sterling in your team, then yeah, why not? I mean, he is a decent pick now that he's with Chelsea. Never Give FPL says, I just can't fit in those 10 mil players in my team, but Sterling is a good pick. Yeah, as I just said, yeah, if you can fit him in, then yeah, it's a good shout. But if not, then there's other options.
Yeah, Sterling is hard. I think if you want to have Sterling in, you have to you can't get Jesus in for sure. But if you're not willing to play 2 up top, Sterling is a viable option. And Chelsea don't have the worst fixtures in the world, but they do have a lot of away games. I think they start the season off, a lot of games are away, so maybe that plays a part in your thinking. But I do like the team on the screen. I'm not so sure about Andreas and the goalkeeper, if I'm being honest. But I definitely like Sterling. It's different, and and Undav as well on the bench. He can play as well. So it's decent. And then Jonathan Maxwell says Meslier better option. I'm assuming in goal for Henderson. Yeah, I'd rather have Meslier in goal, even a Ray at 4.5. I know he's quite template. Meslier, I prefer him as well. The Leeds keeper.
Just one thing. I will be back in a minute. I just gotta get my charger.
Oh yeah, no worries, man. No worries. While Jordan does that, I will bring up the next team, and this was sent to us by Brian, FPL Brian. He's current draft with 5 premium defenders and Edison, so he's gone fully big at the back. He's gone Edison in goal. He's gone Trenton and Robertson with a double up of Liverpool. He's gone Cancelo, Chilwell, and Perisic. So, as big as you can get at the back, pretty much. Saka, Salah, Martinelli, Neto, and Haaland. So, this does look quite good, if I'm being honest. Like, I like the team. The only thing I will say regarding this team is Martinelli, because this is the first draft that we've seen with Martinelli in, and I'm not so sure that that Martinelli is nailed. Let us know what you guys think, though. Obviously, I want to hear from you guys, but I don't think Martinelli is 100% nailed to play in game week 1, and if he isn't, that's my slight worry. And looking at your bench, obviously your Archer, Andreas, and you've got Greenwood. You've not really got a playing bench. So if Martinelli does miss out, do you have cover for him? Is one thing I will say, because I think you'd want a playing bench if Martinelli is in your team. But I do like Martinelli, definitely. I think with Martinelli, if he does play, if you told me Martinelli will definitely play game week 1 to game week 5 and he will play most of the games and he starts, he's coming into my team 100%. I do like him as an option. It's just my worry is he did come off the bench a lot last season, Martinelli, and that is the worry with him. But the rest of the team looks pretty good. I know it's quite template. The defense is quite template, I'd say. Neto, Salah is, and Haaland as well is quite template. Saka is a good pick. Not seen Saka as much in teams lately. Maybe that's just what I've seen, but I feel like Saka could be going a bit under the radar. 8 million. Arsenal's main man last season. We expect another big season for him. Can he perform again? And I think he probably could. So yeah. Welcome back, Jordan.
Thank you. Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's all right. I was just talking about this team. It's pretty much template with big at the back. He's also got Edison in goal, which is, fully big at the back. And then he's gone with the midfield kind of template. But Martinelli, I was just talking about that he is not technical. He's a bit of a rotation risk. And then Haaland up top, we like that as well. But I'm going to let you read out some comments.
Yep, so we got Brian here saying, Sterling could end up being a bargain by the end of the season. I can't afford him game week 1.
He could.
He could, yeah. He could be a bargain by the end of the season. I think he is maybe a long-term clutch holder, I guess, instead of a starter.
Also, I think with Man City, he was rotated in and out. He wasn't always the main man. At Chelsea, I think he's playing every week because he walks into that Chelsea team as the main man in attack, in my opinion. Like, obviously, we know Chelsea's attack did struggle last season. There's no consistency with the players in their goals. Werner struggles. Havertz doesn't get many goals. Lukaku's obviously been shipped out back to Inter. So Sterling goes in and he's already the main man up front, I think. And he is going to be the focal point, especially down that left. I think it could be a very good option, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll fit right into that team. Because I think that's what Chelsea are missing now is their key striker. I think the rest of their positions are fine. It's just their forward position that was lacking.
Fair enough. Got another comment here from Kobe. Said, agreed, lads. Changed my team a bit today. I took out Henderson and Patterson for Mendy and Cash, then bench Pereira for Cash. Well, there you go. Fair enough. Let's now move on to the next team. We're going to try to get through these quickly, guys, because we've been streaming for an hour and we've got a lot more to. We've got, how many slides have we got? We've got 16 slides, so I don't know how many we're going to be able to get through, but we're going to try to get through these ones very quickly. I did mention to Jordan, it's going to be there's a lot of slides. So Ray is in. Is there anything different? We're only going to talk about different players now, because let's speak about Bruno Gomes because he's different in this team. We've got a comment here from Brian says, I could go to Bruno from Newcastle, who's nailed, but I'd have to rotate Pereira in some weeks. Bruno Gomes, what do you reckon?
He's an interesting one. I've seen him in a lot of drafts for fantasy, which is surprising despite Newcastle's fixtures. But I think it's the first one that really attracts people. The Nottingham Forest at home, and also we know how good Bruno Gomes has been for newly transferred from his old club to Newcastle last season. He did leave quite a mark on his matches.
Gomes?
Yeah, Bruno Gomes. He did leave a good. I've lost my
Well, yeah,
words.
he was good last season. I mean, he popped up with goals and assists, but my worry with Gomes is I'm not so sure he can keep up those numbers. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if he'll keep the same level of goals and assists up. I like him as a player. I think he's a top player, and he's a big asset for Newcastle. But I do worry slightly regarding their first five. They do have Man City and Liverpool, I think. Let me just bring it up, the fixtures again. But yeah, they do have quite a tough fixture run. So they got Man City game week 3 and then Liverpool game week 5, and then in between that got Wolves, and then I think the first two fixtures is what swaying people to bring in Gomes. But I'm not so sure. Gomes, I still need to see a bit more for him as an FPL asset before I think he's a game week 1 option for me. Is that the same thoughts for you, Jordan?
Yeah, I'd say he's a wait and see kind of thing. I think Newcastle, we don't know how they're going to start off in the season. Obviously, Bruno Gomes, despite he only played a few matches last season, we have to see how he starts this new season off to see if he's as good as he was last season. Then he might be an option later on in the season for us.
But it's just with Newcastle that I don't know if I want to bring in a player that has Man City and Liverpool in their first 5. That's just my opinion. But I could see why you'd go there. I know he was very good last season. David Hamill says, doing a good job, guys, rattling through them. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate your comment.
Thanks. Getting there.
Yep. We're halfway, I think. We've got a few to do. But yeah, let's move on to the next team. Actually, another comment here from Crosberg says, Bruno is a risk, especially since Newcastle play both City and Liverpool. Yep, in the first 5. So yeah, I agree with that one. So that is my thoughts on that team. And Watkins, actually, let's quickly speak about Watkins because we haven't spoken about Ollie Watkins so far.
Oh yeah, Ollie Watkins.
What do you make of Ollie Watkins as an option from game week 1? Because I'm just going to bring up his fixtures as well to see who he has. But
the fixtures are quite mixed for Aston Villa.
I'll read the fixtures out. So he's got Bournemouth game week 1, then he's got Everton game week 2, Palace game week 3, West Ham game week 4, and then Arsenal game week 5. They don't look too bad, but there is a but with Aston Villa for me. I know Aston Villa are quite a popular team, though. I've seen a lot of Matty Cash. Now, I've seen even Watkins. I'm not so keen on Aston Villa as a game week 1 team, just because I'm not so sure what to expect from Aston Villa. Because last season, they were kind of, I don't know, I expected a lot more from them. I know Gerrard went in. Maybe they start the season off better with the full season, pre-season with Gerrard, but I'm not so sure. Everton. Aston Villa could be one of those teams that if you do take the risk and bring in some of their players, it could pay off for you very handsomely. But also, it could go the other way for me. Like maybe you bring in a Watkins and they just don't do great. But the fixtures don't look bad. Bournemouth game week 1, Everton, Palace, West Ham. What's your thoughts? Would you be getting in Watkins?
Well, I did contemplate getting Coutinho in at one point for Aston Villa, but in the long-term run, at the start of the season, the way the fixtures run for Aston Villa are not quite attractive compared to other teams. So I kind of ruled out Aston Villa as an option for player choices. And for Ollie Watkins' sake, no, I wouldn't really like to have Ollie Watkins in the starting point in season. I think later on, when Aston Villa fixtures are a little bit more better and more easier for them, and to see how they start off the season as well, it kind of is a better option down the road for the season. But especially at 7.5 mil as well, Watkins is not cheap.
Yeah, with me, it's a wait and see with Aston Villa. I don't know what I'm going to get with Aston Villa. Are they going to have a good season, or are they going to, be fighting around that mid-table, lower mid-table 14th, 13th, 15th mark. I actually don't have no clue. So I have to wait and see. Sorry, you got Krosberg. Oh, we read this one. Martin King. Shout out to him. I'm looking at wildcard 6, so that's my team. So may rotate after 3. If you're going wildcard 6, that's interesting as well. Lewis Good said, when is the best time to use early wildcard? We will have loads of videos out on this, guys, throughout the season. Obviously, way too early for us to say, depending on injuries and the way the season's going. So we'll have to decide. But there will be a lot of content regarding all of this stuff. So don't forget to subscribe and ring the notif bells, and you'll have all that content throughout the season. But for me, I've just mentioned Ollie Watkins. I'm not so sure he's a one for me for game week 1. Aston Villa as a whole, I don't know what to expect from them. But yeah, let's move on now to FPL Thomas, who sent us through his team. We've pretty much spoke about everything in his team apart from Son. He's got Son in there, so he has gone 3 premium as well. So he's gone Salah, Son, Haaland. Martinelli we've spoke about with that rotation risk. What do you make of the 3 premium with Son, Haaland, and Salah? Do you like it, or are you staying away, or what's your thoughts?
I would like it if Son was just a little bit more cheaper, because with him being 12 mil, sorry, it's made him so hard to fit in. You have to remove either Haaland or Salah from your team to really have Son work. I mean, for this team that FPL Thomas is constructed, it's not bad team. It's only bad because, let's say a player gets suspended or injured and you have to replace that player. On the bench, it's looking a bit like thin, let's say. I mean, you got Andreas.
Who could play most weeks.
Play Andreas. But other than that, there's not really another option you could go for. And also, you'd probably have to take a hit if you want to swap out a player for, I don't know, another player that's...
Yeah, you can't really upgrade Martinelli, or you'll have to downgrade them to, someone like, we've mentioned the 5.5 million guys, Netos, Damari Grays, your Gordons, these guys. I really do like Martinelli as an option. It's just he's a massive rotation risk. Maybe I'm wrong. I believe he will be a rotation risk this season, but I do like the team. It's just, the 3 premiums for me, you're just compromising too much on the bench, and with the 2 cheap midfielders, you got Martinelli and Bruno Gomes. You can't really upgrade them, and I don't know if there's any other options. There's not much options around that 6 million mark, is there?
No, not really. It's pretty thin in terms of nailed.
Unless you want to go for someone like Rashford, who is 6.5. If you want to go Man United, which could be interesting, maybe we'll see if any drafts have them in. But yeah, hope that's answered your questions, Thomas. But yeah, we like the draft. That's just 3 premiums. We already spoke about it. We're not so sure it works. Got another one from FPL Joffy. He says, this is my favorite of many so far. Feels like you can't go without an Arsenal defender with their fixtures, but I'm not keen on Ramsdale. Is Trippier really an option? And will he keep up that form he had? Is Saka to Jesus the way to go? Double Chelsea defense too risky? A lot of good questions from FPL Joffy. We'll try to quickly answer this. So, feels like you can't go with an Arsenal defender. I'm not so sure on Ramsdale. Is he 5 million?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be going with Ramsdale myself. Maybe getting a 4.5 million, and then maybe downgrade Trippier to Tomiyasu. Because I'm not the biggest fan of having Newcastle defense from the start. I know Trippier is very popular, but I don't know. I think a lot of people are just mistaking Trippier for like Trent or Rob. He doesn't get that many assists. He's a bit of a goal threat on set pieces, but I'm not so sure he is. Maybe I might be completely wrong, but I don't see this as the hype with Trippier. Still, and especially the fixtures, as I mentioned, I don't like the fact they've got Liverpool and City in their first 5. I think you could go without Trippier and maybe downgrade him to Tomiyasu, and then spread that money and back to the Ramsdale and downgrade Ramsdale to a 4.5 like Meslier or Raya. That's just my opinion on Trippier. So I hope I've answered that one. And I'll let you take this one, Jordan. Is Saka over Jesus the way to go?
Oh, that's a very good question. I mean, it's a it's kind of what I done to my draft because I had to take Saka out for Jesus, and I do think Jesus is the way to go instead of Saka now, just because of when we found out that Jesus was signing for Arsenal. That has changed the perspective of who we choose now for Arsenal in terms of Arsenal assets, because when Jesus wasn't announced, we did say Nketiah was the better choice to go for up front. But then it swayed to Jesus, who signed for Arsenal, who will play most every matches, if not all of them. But with Saka being at 8 mil, is it worth having Saka and Jesus in the same team? Well, no. You either have to choose Saka or Jesus, but I do think Jesus is the way to go now instead of Saka, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
It's a question.
We've got Brian here who doesn't agree. He says Saka over Jesus for him based on the 8 million mid option. For me, I think I'd probably prefer to go Jesus as of now. That might change tomorrow, but I feel like I can't really pick. I think for now I'm going with Jesus over Saka just because I like having the two up top. I think Jesus is going to be he's going to be a great signing for Arsenal. I just think he's going to have a good season. I think he'll get a lot of goals. And I think he will be the main man. You know, Arsenal have been crying out for a centre forward, and they finally got one. And I think he's going to play every game. And I just think he's the main man up top. No one's going to displace him. And Nketiah will probably play the Europa League games. But yeah, like the draft, double Chelsea defense. Also, I think for me it maybe is too risky as of now. It looks like they're signing Koulibaly. They're probably going to get Nathan Ake from Man City. Maybe they become options again. But as of now, I'll probably not go with the double Chelsea defense. But that's just my opinion. I'd probably prefer to double up on Liverpool defense and get Robertson instead of Chilwell, and maybe take Luis Diaz to someone else.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather go with a double City or double Liverpool. I feel more comfortable with that rather than a double Chelsea, because we don't know how the defense will be for Chelsea, as there's been a lot of changes, and yeah, we have to see with Chelsea how the defense does at the start. And
got a comment here from Never Give Up. Sorry, he says, Haas, you're completely wrong, maybe, but remember Newcastle's building a good team, but Trippier is quite attacking on some set pieces. I agree, Newcastle is building a good team, and I do think they are going to get stronger. I think Newcastle will be actually right up there challenging in a few years' time. Obviously, we know they've had the investment and they are going to improve a lot, but I just think, you know, they do have Man City, Liverpool, first five, and that is slightly worrying for me. Now, they could score against those teams easily, but regarding Trippier, what was he, 5 million?
Yes.
5 million.
I think it's 5 million.
Yeah, with 5 million, I think, like, don't get me wrong, he probably could get an assist or a goal against Nottingham. Definitely against Nottingham Forest. I think he can. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does. It's just the other games. I don't know if it's worth having him in for one or two, unless you've got Tomiyasu or someone on the bench that you want to rotate. But I think because there's so many cheap defenders this season, maybe you can get away with just having expensive defenders anyway, and you don't need the cheap defenders. Let us know what you think, because I remember we did your team, so yeah, it was a good team as well. Krosberg says, what about having both? Well, I don't know if that works.
I mean, you could have both, but it would cost you Luis Diaz or someone else has 8 mil. You guys have to choose between Saka or Luis Diaz or whoever else you have at 8 mil.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I'd want to go double double Arsenal, like, you know, Saka's 8 mil, then you got Jesus at 9.5. I wouldn't be against Jesus and maybe a Martinelli if you could somehow squeeze him in and maybe rotate on a bench or something. But yeah, but then again, Arsenal have great fixtures. If you look at the fixtures, they have one of the better fixture runs, so it could pay off if you want to take that risk and have both of them. Manish, who has just subscribed to our YouTube channel, so thank you for that, mate. He says he sent us a team on Twitter. Hossam also says, can I send my team on here? Nope, guys, you can't send your team on here. You have to send it to us on Twitter. It's why I always say, guys, follow us on Twitter. We are the FPL Duo. Where you can send us your team. We sent a tweet out on Monday, so I think right now we can't do your teams if you haven't sent us your tweets in already, but maybe we'll do a part 2. For everyone that missed out, we'll do a part 2 and we'll rate your drafts in your team. Or if we have some time, we'll probably do it later on. But yeah, Twitter is the way. If you see our tweet, I think on Monday we sent it out.
Yeah.
We've got Scott here, FPL Arc Survivor. 8 Nuri's in, which is interesting. We'll have to speak about 8 Nuri.
Sanchez.
And he's got Johnson starting as well, which is interesting. Against Newcastle, game week 1. What do you make of 8 Nuri or Wolves defense? Because obviously we were talking a lot about Wolves defense, but seemingly slowly we're starting to get rid of them. We had Johnny.
Yeah.
We were talking about Johnny quite a lot. But
Yeah, I do like the Wolves' defense still. I mean, they did struggle near the end of the season, but I think that was down to injuries and fatigue and that. But I think the way Wolves will start the season will be pretty strong. I do think it's important that having a Wolves defender, especially with their fixtures too. Let's not forget how good Wolves fixtures are as well. I think a lot of people are missing out on a good players, just a good team to start with in terms of Wolves. Like you got to have at least one Wolf player, I think, in the first game.
I'll just bring up Wolves fixtures again for you. Bear with me for a sec. It's been a bit slow. They've got Leeds game week 1. Then they've got Fulham. Then they've got Spurs, which is quite tough. Then they've got Newcastle and Bournemouth and Southampton. So their fixtures look quite good. I do agree with Jordan. You'd want at least a Wolves player potentially. But the thing is, with 8 Nuri, how much is he? Was 4.5, isn't he? So
yeah,
I think what a lot of people are doing now, because 4.5 with an extra 0.5 or extra 1 mil, you can get a Perisic in who plays for Tottenham, or you can get in a James for 6 million, or a double up with Chilwell. I just think because the defenders are so cheap, it's kind of priced out in the other way. The 4.5 million players, the 4.5 million players aren't as attractive because why pay 4.5 where you can bring in Perisic for another 1 mil, if that makes sense, or you can bring in another James for 1.5 mil, and that's the difference. Maybe if James and Chilwell were priced at 7 million, then 8 Nuri becomes more attractive at that price bracket. But because all defenders are cheap, I think people are going to forget bringing in these 4.5 million defenders. That's maybe what I think is happening. But I think 8 Nuri or Johnny. I prefer Johnny. I think is interesting, and I do like it. And he's also got Tomiyasu I see on the bench, so he's got 2 4.5 million defenders, and I'm not so sure I'd have that much money on the bench though, because he's gone with Tomiyasu, and obviously he's gone with Andreas. Fair enough, is 4.5. So maybe unless he has money left over, I don't know, because I feel like he's gone quite a bit cheap on the team. Because he's got Johnson up top, he's got Bruno Guimaraes also. I think actually he's got 2 million. Sorry, he got 2 8 million midfielders, hasn't he, in Saka, Diaz? So maybe that's where the budget's gone.
It's interesting. He started with Johnson over Tomiyasu.
Oh yeah, actually, that's actually then maybe you want to play the attacking player over a defender. I guess a lot of people prefer, but Johnson's interesting. I just don't know with what I want to get with the new promoted teams. I know Newcastle fixture isn't easy, especially Newcastle away in a game week 1. We know St James Park is going to probably get out for the game, obviously. So I don't know. Nottingham Forest, let us know if you guys are interested in them and their players and their newly promoted ones. Do you want to take this comment, Jordan, or what are you going to
say? Brian says, I think I might change Robertson and Martinelli to James and Diaz. Really reluctant to go without Robertson, but Diaz is clearly better than Martinelli. Yeah, I won't disagree with that comment. I definitely think Diaz is better than Martinelli, and yeah, I like the change.
And what else? You might change Robertson to down to James. Okay, yeah, you could do that. I'll definitely look to have one Chelsea defender at least, James or Chilwell. You can pick which one you want, but I don't know about the double up. Never give up FPL. As always, he says we've just reached 340 subscribers. Moving up, lads. And Brian also says only 60 more, 400 subs before game week 1 is on. Yeah, guys, I can't believe we've hit 340. So yeah, we just want to say thank you to everyone that has helped us reach that many subscribers. We didn't think it was this possible this soon, but thank you guys for that.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can reach 400 before game week 1. We just want to say thanks to everyone that watches our streams. And yeah, man, we really appreciate all the support, guys, and ladies. So yeah, we just want to say thank you, basically.
Yeah, and welcome to the new subscribers to the stream and to the channel. Hope you enjoy our content that we have for you.
Yep. Also, Barnsey, he's back. Welcome, mate. He says, "Hey lads, long time no see." Yeah, I was just gonna say I haven't seen you guys. Sorry, seen you on our stream in a while. If you're on a bit longer, I'll pop my team on Twitter. Yeah, mate. If you just pop it on Twitter, send it through, and we'll try get through because we have a lot of
yeah, there's a lot of traffic.
A lot of teams sent to us, and we're trying to get through every single one. We're only going to talk about any differences. So if we see something the same in every team, we're not going to go past the same point again. But hope you guys understand that. But also, guys, don't forget to watch this stream back after we've gone live. So and drop a comment because that also helps a lot. With the algorithm and everything. Jordan, do you want to take this one?
Elliot says, haven't seen much of Kane in these drafts. People preferring Haaland, who might be a rotation risk.
Oh, I don't know if Haaland will be a rotation risk, but I do understand that maybe we're overlooking Haaland because Haaland, he's proven in the league. If you guys care about that, Kane also had, very good numbers. Expected numbers, expected goals, expected assists. He actually had better expected goals than Son, but we know Son obviously outscored him. But yeah, actually, I've actually got Kane in my team as of now, so I've got Kane in my team, but I'm gonna take him out for Haaland. So yeah, I just think with Haaland, it's just exciting, isn't it? Haaland had Salah numbers in the Bundesliga last season. I know it'll be interesting to see if he gets those same numbers in the Premier League, which we know there's that Bundesliga tax and whatnot. But Haaland's going to be playing for Man City, the best team in the league, and the team who create the most chances, the team who score the most goals, and he's going in there, and you'd expect him to, carry on, getting the chances, and the way he finishes, he should take them. So yeah, I can see why a lot of people have jumped on Haaland, but I am a bit surprised to see that many on Haaland. Like it's like 65%. I think he is at selected, which probably more than I thought. Maybe that just shows Haaland is priced a bit cheap. I think if Haaland was priced at 12 million, 12.5, it would have gave us a bit more of a fallback. At 11.5, I just think it's just made FPL have made people's mind up for themselves.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
You want to take this comment as well? Oh, yeah, if you could take some of these comments, Jordan.
Yeah.
While I just check Twitter.
Sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. San Charlie says, just sent you guys my team on Twitter. We'd love to know what you think. Yeah, we will try to get through your team.
Yeah, we've got it. Yeah, so we made these slides. Sorry, I just want to say we made these slides we made them yesterday. So if you sent in your team today on Twitter, we'll try to do these afterwards. But guys, like I said, follow us on Twitter so you don't miss out. Yeah, that way we can do all your teams. But yeah, we will try to do that, San Charlie. After I've got your team on here, we have a few to get through, so we will come back to that. If you just stay on and be patient with us, we'll hope to get to that. Manish says his team is Ramsdale, Raya, Trent, Cancelo, Anderson from Palace, Aguard, Botman, Son, Bowen, Trossard, Bruno Gomes, Murphy, Haaland, Jesus, and Sturridge. Okay, we've got some people. We've got Damien Lean also says his team. If you send us all on Twitter, we'll probably try to put it in a video. Barnesy said he sent it. Bit of a risky triple up with Haaland and Kane. Krosberg, I've sent you guys my team a while ago. Would like to know what you guys think. Have I got your team on here? Yeah, I do have your team here, actually. We will bring you up, mate. We will bring your team up. I've got it here. We'll have to just get through these teams very quickly, and then we'll probably do some Twitter ones that we just got today. But yeah, let's quickly We've got FPL bus driver. Anything different that stands out? Grealish. We've got to speak about Grealish and a bit of
Rashford
Rashford actually.
and Mendy.
Oh yeah, he's got Mendy. Well, we sort of spoke about Mendy, but
Yeah.
let's talk about Grealish and your thoughts on Grealish because I have a it might be an interesting shout on Grealish. What do you make of
Yeah.
Grealish at
I
Man
haven't
City?
really, I really haven't really overlooked Grealish in teams. I've not seen him in any drafts at all. And as a triple up on the Arsenal, it's a bit of a, I'll say a
Oh,
risk.
City.
Oh, sorry, sorry, City. A bit of a risk for a City triple up because I've seen most teams that just have like a one defender and Haaland up front. I've not seen many with a midfielder, and I have seen a few, but it's been mostly Mahrez as the midfielder. I haven't seen Grealish, which is a difference. I'm not sure about Grealish, to be fair. He definitely will play games, but he could be a rotation risk, a very big one. But I guess you do have Tomiyasu on the bench in case he doesn't play, so that does cover you in that circumstance. So
Mm.
I do like it still with the triple Man City you have because I haven't seen many people with three Man City players. It's been mostly two.
Mm. Also, regarding Grealish, my opinion on Grealish is that I actually think he could be a very good option this season. It was he priced at 7 mil, I believe.
I'm not sure with Grealish. I
7.5.
could check his price actually.
Yeah, if you could check me Grealish's price, but I'll just give you my thoughts on Grealish. With Grealish, I think, we know how Pep and Man City, when they sign a new player, they usually take a year to bed into the team. And this is going to be Grealish's second full season. And I think he could take it to that next level, his performance. And I think Sterling's left, Jesus is left. He's going to probably play in that left hand side. And I think he can be a very good option this season for a Man City. And I think I'd expect his numbers to go up, goals and assists. And yeah, watch out for Grealish, guys. It's an early shout from me. I think he could have a very good season. I know he was slightly disappointing last year, but I think he could take it to that next level this season where his output becomes better. That's just my opinion on Grealish. And regarding the rest, Rashford's interesting. Let me know if you bought Rashford in after that Man United performance in preseason against Liverpool, or did you have him before that game, the preseason game against Liverpool? It'll be interesting to know. But Rashford's interesting. Obviously, 6.5 million. Did you get the price for Grealish, Jordan?
Yeah, he's 7 million.
7
Grealish.
million. So yeah, I think 7 million Grealish could be a bargain. I'm just pointing out the early, but we'll have to see if that how right I am. But we'll come on to that later on. Regarding Rashford, I think 6.5 million could be also a very good price for him if he picks up form. But are you confident, Jordan, Man United?
You know what? I have been as a Man United fan, I was tempted a few times to bring Rashford in as like a little, let's say, a lucky horseshoe for Man United, just in case they have a storm of a great first five fixture run. But no, I don't want to be sucked into that until I know what Ten Hag's plan is for players, because I don't know if Rashford will be a part of that or not. But it is a good price for Rashford as he has 6.5 mil. And if it does turn out that Ten Hag has good plans for Rashford, where he's nailed his starts and his performance is improved from previous seasons where he was mostly bench warmer and didn't really come on. He was substituted but didn't play many minutes. If we do see a difference in Rashford this season, I do believe he could be a good option to go for in the longer term run. But shorter term run at the start, I don't think it's a wait and see, I think, for Man United, for me personally.
Okay. If you could get some of these comments
Yeah,
read out quite quickly because we've missed quite a few. If you could just get
yeah.
through most of them. Hold
We
on.
have Barnsley that
Oh, which one was it? This one.
yeah, we have Barnsley that says love for letter is mad. I've got him for the good fixtures and price, but I'm not expecting much. Yeah, we Neto is kind of stuck in everyone's team at 5.5. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that Barnsley. He also says got Rashford in the team. I would avoid at the start of the season. Yeah, as I just said, definitely agree with that. We've got Sherwin who says best draft so far. Yeah, yeah,
It's interesting the draft. Triple C.
yeah, it's an
I do
interesting
like the
draft.
draft though. I think it's all right. Rashford, I don't know if I'll be having him in my team though.
I'll say
Just
it's
want to
quite,
start.
yeah, it's a differential one, I guess.
Mhm.
Never Give Up FPL says no Rashford, even with no Ronaldo. Yeah, I
So I
mean,
would see what happens with Ronaldo, I guess.
yeah, uh, we don't know what Ronaldo will be doing this season.
Well, yeah.
Barnsley says Rashford to Odegaard, much better predicted points. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I'd be tempted to do that actually because, as we know, Arsenal have a very good fixtures, and he's not got any Arsenal attackers. So maybe Odegaard could be an option in there actually, or Martinelli if you don't mind the slight minutes risk. But yeah.
and Barnsley says, and no Arsenal players, they're attacking wise.
Yep. There
Yeah,
you go. Just Odegaard, Martinelli, if we bring him in. But we'll move on swiftly to the next team. Hopefully that's answered your questions, FPL bus driver. We've got FPL Sean. He's gone Doherty and Perisic, which is the double at the back for Spurs. We're going to speak about that. Yeah, we're just going to speak about that because the rest we've kind of covered. Obviously, Foden as always in there. To be honest, we've seen quite a few different teams, haven't we?
yeah, it's quite
Slightly.
diverse. I thought it'd be mostly template.
Yeah, there's quite a few different teams. What do you make of Tottenham double at the back? Is it would you be going there or are you not a
uh,
fan?
I'm not a fan. I would rather go for more attacking players for Tottenham because their first fixture against Southampton that's really strong. I would really rather have like a Kulusevski, Harry Kane, or a Son.
Mm.
Uh, I would go for one defender like Perisic, but I wouldn't go for a double Spurs. But it is different. Again, it's not a bad
And
thing.
sorry, okay, so I agree with you there. I think double Tottenham defense. I'm not so sure, but they do also have good fixtures. If I just read their games out very quickly, who have they got? Who have they got? Um, so Southampton, you could see a clean sheet there. Chelsea game week 2, it looks tough. Wolves, Forest, West Ham. So they could keep a few clean sheets, but I just think maybe double is a bit too much for Spurs defense. But let's quickly talk about Foden. We like Foden.
Yeah,
He's another midfielder at that 8 million mark. You know, he's gone with him over Diaz. Obviously, he's gone double Liverpool at the back, so he can't have Diaz. Foden is interesting shout. I think he could be a good option as well again this season. I think he did play quite a lot of minutes last season. Obviously, there was always a worry with him, rotation risk and minutes risk. But he did seem to play a lot of games under Pep last year, and I think he's a good option, guys. Again, it's just with Man City, there is always that worry with that rotation. But as an option, Jordan, do you like Foden?
yeah. In comparison to Grealish, I do prefer Foden instead. Just the way he played last season when he did play and start matches, he looked a bit more confident, more attacking. You saw more returns from Foden, even though Grealish played less games than Foden. But Foden just looks more like confident and fits right in
Mm.
that space for Man City.
Oh yeah, I agree. Foden does look good. He did look good last season. Um, got another comment here from Brian. Could downgrade Gordon to 4.5 and Doherty to James and Chilwell. That's a shout from Brian. I'd probably do something like that actually because he's got Gordon on the bench. Maybe take him down 4.5 to Tomiyasu, and then there
Yeah.
you go. That will leave you the money to bring in a James. We will now move on to the next slide. Anything different in this slide? We've Rashford have covered, Haaland and Kane up top. Slightly different. That's he's
Pretty.
gone with no Salah actually, so we've got to speak about that.
Oh,
No
wow.
Salah draft, the first no Salah draft that we've come across, I think. Uh, I don't know. I'm not so sure. I'm not that. I don't know if I can go without Salah personally. This is a draft. Obviously, he's got Kane and Haaland. He's gone Foden, Saka, Luis Diaz. So he has gone with 8 million midfielders. So he's gone quite big in midfield. He's gone light at the back, which is very different to every other kind of team we've seen. You know, a lot of people are playing 4-5 at the back, or if they are playing 3 at the back, they've got 3 premiums in there. This draft has got Trent and James, and then obviously Trippier slightly cheaper. But interestingly, no Salah. What do you make of no Salah? Do you think it can work? Is it too risky? For this is from FPL Gene.
I do think if you don't have Salah in your team, you're not going to win fantasy. I
There
say.
you go, guys.
Yeah, if you manage to win fantasy with no Salah, I will be impressed. but no bad vibes about the team though. About Salah, it is different because you're the only draft that we've seen with no Salah in it. Plus, Salah will be featured in most teams in fantasy as well. So that is pretty brave to go without him. But I do like the team.
He's also gone with Kane captain for game week 1 against Southampton, which is understandable.
Yeah.
If you don't have Salah, but I'm not so sure that's for me. But I can see I like the midfield. Foden, Saka, Neto is interesting, obviously as an enabler. But yeah, interesting. Let us know, guys, in the comments. Are you going to go without Salah? Are you guys brave enough to go without Salah? Because he obviously is a great captain option for game week 1 against Fulham. And if Salah goes and scores a hat trick against Fulham in game week 1, will you guys regret that if he does? But yeah, let's move on to Atlas FPL. Wouldn't mind an opinion or two. So you've got Nico Williams starting off the bat, which is interesting. He's got 4 players in there that interest me for discussion points. So you've got Nico, he's got Ward-Prowse, he's got Mahrez, and he's got Jimenez. Off the bat, what do you make of actually I'll speak on Nico and I'll let you go with Mahrez and stuff. With Nico Williams, for me, 4 million option. I'm not so sure. I mean, actually, as a bench option, he's decent. I can have it. I wouldn't want to start him most weeks, but I can see why you've bought him in. He's cheap and whatnot. But you've also got Ward-Prowse. Now, I'm not really a huge fan of Ward-Prowse as an FPL asset. I know he does get penalties and he free kicks, but from open play, his goal threat isn't as high. A lot of his goals come from penalties and free kicks. So I'm not the biggest fan of Ward-Prowse in FPL. Obviously, I think he's a good player. That's just my thoughts on him. I'll let you discuss Mahrez. What's your thoughts on Mahrez? He's quite popular.
Yeah, I've seen him a few draft Mahrez. I'm a bit surprised. I don't really see why Mahrez is in a lot of drafts, but I kind of do, because obviously with Jesus leaving and Sterling leaving, we might see more of Mahrez in the team, I guess. So you could maybe go for Mahrez as different to, let's say, Haaland, for example, where he's owned by over 60% of people in fantasy. Mahrez is a much less owned player, but he is in a few drafts for fantasy players. But yeah, it's double City too. You got Cancelo as well with that, and yeah, I do like it. Mahrez and Cancelo as the City. We haven't seen many with that combination.
With me, Mahrez is still a worry for me. I wouldn't be surprised if Mahrez was on the bench game week 1. Like, that's something that can happen quite easily. That is my worry with Mahrez. You wouldn't be surprised if Foden, Grealish, and like Alvarez started on the right or something like that. Because with Mahrez, there's always that rotation risk worry. So I don't think I'm brave enough to start with him. We mentioned Ward-Prowse. His open play threat isn't that high. Jimenez is another interesting pick. Was he 7.5 million?
Yeah, he's a 7.5 million. Fits in the bracket of Antonio Watkins as well. Again, a weird forward to have. I haven't seen Jimenez in many drafts either, but Wolves do have good long-term fixtures.
Yeah, they've got good. Despite
the odd hard one or two, but you could probably keep a Wolves player till game week 7, I think, and then
game week 6. Or game week 7, they've got Liverpool.
Yeah, so you could probably keep Jimenez up until then, and maybe, I don't know, downgrade him or.
The thing with Jimenez, obviously, he had that injury, and I think he's not quite been the same player since that awful injury he had, I think, a couple of seasons ago. And with Wolves, I don't know if I'm willing to spend 7.5 on an attacker. With Neto, he's a bit cheaper, so I don't mind having that punt with him. But 7.5 is quite a significant amount for a punt on Jimenez, who I feel like might be a bit of a punt. But then again, they've got good fixtures. I can see why you've gone with Jimenez. But if you can pick up some old form of 2019, maybe he becomes a great FPL option again. But yeah, it's an interesting shout there. Interesting team. a lot of debate in this one actually as well, because obviously Nico, Ward-Prowse, I'm not too keen on. Mahrez also a rotation risk. Jimenez also, there's that worry. Can he kick? Can he keep that form that he had previously? Pre-injury. We've got FPL Suffolk Tractor on the next draft. We're gonna speak about Son. He's got Son, Haaland, and Salah. I mean,
And
this is another
Walker.
3 premium draft, and he's gone Walker. We're gonna talk about Walker because we're not gonna mention the 3 premium stuff because we've gone over that. Walker, what's your thoughts on Walker in this draft? How it's set up?
Yeah, I think he's 5 mil, isn't he, Walker?
Yep.
So there's a little bit of hype for Walker. There's a lot of people that think Walker will start in Man City's 11 in the first game week or onwards. I'm not entirely sure if that is true or not, but if it is, then it is a good option to go for rather than Cancelo, who's much more expensive, or Laporte or Diaz, because Walker is experienced. He is in his late 30s now, I think. So he has got the expertise in his defence to perform well in what he does. But yeah, Walker is definitely different.
The thing with Walker for me is that I think he is a good option if he is nailed, but we don't know that yet because we expect Cancelo to play on the right if they sign Cucurella. If they don't sign Cucurella, I think Walker's going to be a great option to get into that Man City defense at a cheap 5 million. So Walker for me isn't completely ruled out if they don't sign any more fullbacks. So I do like him there. But for now, I'll have to wait and see what they do in the wingback area in the transfer market. Maybe too early to bring him in for me. Andreas, I'm not so sure. I don't want him starting a Fulham player. I'd expect him to get beat most weeks, but Andreas is a player, he could score the odd goal. But yeah, I'm not so sure about the 3 premium drafts. I don't know if I'd have to play it. You're going to have to play Andreas every week, pretty much. Do you want to do that? I'm not so sure. But yeah, that is the thoughts on that one. And hopefully we'll obviously cover Jesus and Haaland. Next one from FPL Reports. He's gone with 4-4-2. This draft is pretty template. Very template. This is what I'd expect a lot of template teams to look like. We've pretty much covered everything on that one. So hopefully FPL Reports, we've gone through most of the questions. Obviously, Martinelli is the one that is a bit of a minutes risk for both of us. We like Haaland and Jesus as well. Hopefully we'll get through that one quick. And that was the last one actually. And that one probably was the most, if you had to make a template team, it'd probably be something like this. But it does look like a strong team, very strong team. And one that I think a lot of people will, will be quite similar to this.
That is actually the one that I made earlier.
Yeah. All right. It looks good though. I'll let you take this comment, Jordan, and the rest of the comments.
Sherwin says we have an extra wild card, so you can take a few punts early on and activate it if things go wrong. That's very true. Yeah, you can go wild with your choices, I guess, with that 3rd wild card in as an option. That is very true. I do agree with that. Never give up FPL says Salah always captain game week 1. There you go. Never give up FPL says always captain Salah game week 1, especially with Fulham, that as Liverpool have as their first fixture. Leo is good 123 says if Walker is nailed for 5 mil, a fullback at City, that's a bargain.
Yeah, I agree with that one as well. I agree. If you could get a starting fullback at Man City, who's only 5 million, you can't really go wrong there. And he'll probably come into my team if he is nailed. But we just don't know until the window ends. If they don't sign anyone else, I'll be looking at that closely.
Yeah.
Let's quickly go through the Twitter ones. Obviously, we haven't really seen what's on Twitter. I'm just going to share my Twitter screen with you guys, and hopefully, Manish is also there. Says what game week is the best to wildcard before it's World Cup. Obviously, there is a bit of a fixture swing at game week 8, I believe. So maybe you can go somewhere wildcarding around game week 8. But obviously it will be team dependent, and maybe you need a wildcard earlier, depending on if things have gone bad or. But let me share my screen with you guys. I will bring up the teams that we just got on Twitter. We hope you guys are enjoying the content, guys. Please don't forget to smash the like button and also subscribe if you're new. We really appreciate if you could like the video. It really helps support and grow the channel. Someone just sent this in right now. This Trent somebody. Bruno Martinelli. We've mentioned this, haven't we? Pretty much. We've gone through this team, so we're not going to go too much into this one. Interestingly, he's got Neto on the bench, which is decent as he's got a bench option. But would you agree, Jordan? We've gone through this team.
Yeah, we've gone through every single player in that team pretty much. I'll say the difference is only Neto being on the bench. That's
Sandeep, we've got him as well. Can you give me suggestions on keeper and Alonso? We like the keeper. Alonso, I'd probably swap him out for Chilwell or James. I'd definitely prefer Chilwell or James. I think Alonso isn't going to start. If Chilwell is fit, I wouldn't expect Alonso to get many games. So that's easy for me. Take him out for Chilwell or James. Would you agree there? Or
yeah, unless Chilwell or James are injured or whatever, Alonso only becomes an option if either of those two are not able to play, which we saw last season. Obviously, Alonso was really good, but because James and Chilwell are back in the team now, I don't think we'll see much of Alonso.
Also, he could get sold. I don't be surprised if Alonso is sold. I think there's rumors going around that he could be. Also, Brentford, this was a new signing, a new goalie, but it's not a first team goalie, I believe, Barnsley. So yeah, Brentford have signed a goalie already. I think it's been confirmed, but I wouldn't be worried. I don't think he's coming in to replace Raya. I think he's more of a second choice goalie. So I wouldn't be too worried about Brentford signing a goalkeeper, personally. There's another one here, Threemium with a bench option. Thoughts? So he's got Johnny on the bench. He's got Salah, Martinelli, Neto, Guimaraes, Kane, Haaland. Interesting team. We spoke about Martinelli being a minutes risk, potential rotation risk. Guimaraes, fixture slightly. There's a slight fixture worry in the first 5. It's not a bad team though for a premier or threemium team. And he's got Johnny on the bench. What do you make of this very quickly?
I'd say it's a really good freemium team you got there, because you can swap out Bruno Guimaraes for Johnny when the fixture swing happens for Newcastle and Wolves. And besides that, yeah, I do like it. You don't have Cancelo. You've gone for Laporte, which is different too. It's not a bad shout. I do like Laporte in the team instead of Cancelo. That could work still. But yeah, the rest of it to fit in Kane, Haaland, and Salah, it's not easy. That is probably the best freemium I've seen. So good.
That
good
might
job.
be actually. Yeah, that might be the best threemium team we've seen. Because he has got, he's also got Tomiyasu in there as well. So it's not bad.
We've also managed to fit Mendy in too.
Yeah, Mendy's in there as well, which is decent as well. Double Chelsea at the back, I guess. We've got San Charlie. Hopefully, yeah, we've said we'll get to your team. There you go. They've gone 5-3-2. They've gone also with a threemium with Son, Salah, and Kane. So double Tottenham attack. And they've also gone with Jesus, which is interesting. But Colback starting. You've got Jansen starting, the Brentford defender, and you've got Nico Williams starting. For me, straight off the bat, there's too many compromises there, in my opinion. I think if you dropped one of the Tottenham boys down, maybe drop Son down to Saka, it will let you have more money to play with to upgrade Colback. Because Colback, I don't know, he's not really a great option, in my opinion, to have. Jansen as well. Obviously, Brentford do have decent fixtures, but there's so much value at 4.5. Tomiyasu. There's Johnny. There's so many more players in that Brentford. Maybe Jansen for one of them. Maybe for Johnny if you want to go cheap. 4.5 million. I think is Jansen 4.5 million.
Can then have a little check.
Let me check that. But yeah, Colback is the one. I wouldn't want to play Colback every week, if I'm being honest. So that is a worry for me regarding Colback. Oh, I just moved. Sorry, I moved the team, didn't I? Where is that team?
No,
there it is.
There.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Colback is the one. I definitely want to be playing him every week. And I can't really see your bench playing bench. But yeah, is Jansen 5 or 4.5, Jordan?
Yeah, he is 4.5 mil. Jansen.
Yeah, I think I'm getting sent loads of teams while I'm. Hold on. Where was I? Was I on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's my thoughts on that one, guys. Hopefully that's answered your question. Jansen will probably change it to Johnny. Nico Williams is you can maybe keep him in there if you want a cheap option, but I think you'll have to probably sacrifice one of the big boys because we just think playing Colback isn't ideal, and I'm assuming you don't have a bench either, so that is the slight worry with that team. Manish, we've gone. Okay, this Trent, Cancelo. So bear with me for a sec. My phone just went off. So Leon, I'll let you read this team out.
Okay, so we got Ramsdale and Ray as the goalkeepers. Got Trent, Cancelo, Anderson, Agward, Botman in the defence. Son, Bowen, Trossard, Bruno Guimaraes, Murphy in the midfield options, and up front we got Haaland, Jesus, and Surridge. So I'm assuming Surridge, Murphy, Botman, and Rams or Raya is the bench options.
For me, straight off the bat, there's no obviously there's one Liverpool player. There's no
And no
Salah.
Salah.
It's gone with Son, I guess. Son and Haaland. Bowen's interesting. It's an interesting team because obviously we've not seen any Bowen drafts. Trossard, another one. I think maybe I'd prefer a Rashford even ahead of him. Defense, I don't know. I'm not so keen on Anderson. Instead of Anderson, you rather have a Tomiyasu who's got better fixtures, plays for a better team. So straight off the bat, I'd rather have Tomiyasu over Anderson in there. Botman as well. Not is he going to play? From the start. That's the worry with him. Aguard, obviously another new signing. I think maybe you want someone a bit more You've got Alexander Arnold and Cancelo in there, but I think I'd want another one in there that's just a bit more, you can expect good points off because Anderson at Palace don't have the best fixtures, do they? Palace got awful fixtures to start with.
Yeah,
West Ham don't have great fixtures. Newcastle as well, not the best, in the coming first five. They've got Liverpool and Man City as well.
Yeah,
you've gone triple Newcastle. I see Murphy is not really going to play as much. Yeah, I'm not so keen on that defense. Maybe bring in some Arsenal players in defense instead of Anderson. And surely you have to have at least one Liverpool attacker. One of the best attacking teams in the league.
Yeah, I do feel like this is a team that manages made just to have a punt at it to see how well it does before you use the wild card. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what you've really gone for. I mean, if you're going for that long term, then yeah, I'll probably be making changes to it. But
yeah, I think when most people make their teams, they usually, first 5 to 6 game weeks is what you should look at. I wouldn't be looking too far ahead. So first 5 to 6 game weeks, if you could get through that, then yeah. But I just think that you could, there is quite a few changes you could make to improve that team straight. Tomiyasu for Anderson is one I can think of straight away. Thank you for sending your team in. Krosberg, you finally got to your team. He's gone Mendy, Trent, Laporte, Perisic, Trippier, Diaz, Salah, Neto, Foden, Jesus, Haaland. We've mentioned pretty much all these players, haven't we? Who's on his bench? He's got Taylor, Nico, and Andreas on his bench as well.
Yes, pretty much all. Yeah, we mentioned all these players during the stream.
But we like the team, right?
Yeah, it's another team that's good.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe if you can upgrade Laporte to Cancelo somehow, if you could stretch, that would be also decent. But I don't know if you're sure if you have the money for that. But yeah, we like the team. We've mentioned pretty much all these players, so we've gone through them, and that is the rest, I think. Yep, that is the rest of the teams. So yeah, guys, that is it. We've gone through, I don't know how many drafts, maybe 20 plus drafts.
Yeah, 20 plus, definitely.
So yeah, guys, we hope you enjoyed that. If you could, we really appreciate it if you could drop a like and also subscribe. How many subscribers are we on now? I'll have to check. We are on 342. So thank you for that, guys. Thank you for that. And we're gonna wrap the stream up. We've been going for nearly 2 hours. We want to say thank you to everyone that has joined the stream. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everyone that's commented. And yeah, guys, just want to say thank you for watching. Barnsey here, rate the grind, boys. Appreciate the rating. No worries, man. Every
Thanks,
time.
Barnsey.
Thank you for coming on. And yeah, Brian says take care. Brilliant stream. Thank you too, mate.
Thanks, Brian.
Also, guys, I have one favor for you guys to do: like the stream, and also once the stream ends, can you please go back on our video and drop a comment? Anything you want, just drop, a comment after the stream, and that helps the channel out a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jordan, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I'd just like to say thank you for everyone that sent their drafts in. We were not expecting that many drafts, if I'm honest, to be sent to our Twitter and then produced on our slides. But yeah, it was very appreciated. It was very fun looking at all your teams. They're all very great teams in all different ways. So thanks for that.
Yeah, guys, thank you for that. And yeah, guys, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the FPL Duo. Don't forget to join our mini league. The code is on the screen now, and the code is also in the description below. There's an auto join link there, so just click that and you'll automatically join. And yeah, we're out. And hopefully, guys, we will see you on the next video. I don't know when that will be, but probably sometime on the weekend. And yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed. This has been the FPL Duo. Take care, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Yeah, see you guys. Take care.
Thank you.